Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the Starladder I-League 13 Chinese Division match between Team FanTuan and TongFu. But we are now going into Game 2 with a 1-0 advantage for FanTuan, ZSMJ's team, and wow, that was a hell of a Game 1 as well. That was just really enjoyable to watch. I want to see more Slaughter Omni Knight. That's just a really strong lineup overall, and I'm just like thinking about the drafting ramifications in my head about how I can actually put that into practice in captain's mode. So, yeah, I want to see more of that, and I expect we will. It's pretty solid against the Ember Spirit in particular. But we're gonna be getting into Game 2 here. Again, Fantuan has taken a 1-0 lead. They're gonna look to close this out 2-0. They're already looking pretty strong as a team. Just looking at their matches under this name. A lot of good wins here. So, yeah, I'm expecting a lot more from them. They played 4 days ago when Cyclops was casting, and it looks like they were able to take 2 different matches. So, very, very nice. Anyways, yeah, we're going to be jumping into the draft for now, and it is going to be another slugfest, I hope. Once again, I'm Blaze, and let's check it out. So, we did see the top picks for both teams banned out here. TongFu had, looks like, yeah, they had the second pick this time, so they had to ban out the Doom and the Slardar. Team FanTuan didn't want to play the Wyverns, or first pick the Wyverns, so they go ahead and ban that along with Undying. They get Tusk, TongFu respond with Darkseer, Nightstalker, and now Gyrocopter hits the field. So, Ancient Apparition Dazzle bans. Are we going to see an Alchemist game? I mean, it's good with Darkseer, but it's pretty bad against Gyro, I would say. I also like the fact that Huskar got banned out by FanTuan, not because they have to ban it. It's a strong fourth pick for TongFu, but they could respond to it with their last two. FanTuan get the fourth and fifth pick after TongFu's fourth. But the reason I think they banned it is just because Gyrocopter is such a bad single-target damage dealer. So they would have to really restructure their entire draft for it. And the AA ban also kind of clues them in on it a little bit too, I guess. The Ancient Apparition was particularly strong against Huskar and Alchemist, so I guess reasonable bans. I feel like my audio just went down a lot. Yeah, okay, for some reason I muted everything all at once, but we got some drums in the background now. Alrighty, so we got the Queen of Pain, third pick for TongFu. Really good team fight now. I mean, they've got the ability to mobilize with the Night Stalker. Faith, I think, is kind of the more dynamic support player here. He's been running the heroes that get involved in the other lanes much more often. So, yeah. Darkseer, off lane for Zex Bingo. Faith, probably taking the Night Stalker around the map, around the world. And Queen of Pain, played by U9 in mid. So that begs the question, what does Shinki want to pick up here against a Gyrocopter? I definitely want to look for single target versus the AoE fight. And Sven seems like a pretty good option in my mind. Sven, Night Stalker, Darkseer, and Queen of Pain. I feel like that lineup has a lot of strengths, but there is one weakness. You got 3 short-range heroes, all right up in somebody's face. You could counter out that with a couple of different heroes. Support Venomancer, support Disruptor. Axe obviously is a great offlaner, though I think the Tusk is offlane here. Seems to be up DDR's alley, or Angel Eye's alley, sorry. Angel Eye actually I think has a pretty good Tusk record. I'll have to look that up though. Overall, though, he just played amazing on the Slardar, and I'd expect similar things from him out of a Tusk. So, looking at his esports record, Tusk is actually not among his top heroes at all. Like, any of his top heroes, he doesn't play it hardly at all. I mean, most of Angel Eye's competitive history is in patches where Tusk wasn't viable or wasn't considered good, even when he was getting stealth buff after stealth buff, or gradually creeping along to being imbalanced in this 6.85 patch. But yeah, no, he actually doesn't like Tusk at all. So interestingly enough, I think they're going to fork that over to a support. Presumably DDR, who played the Omni Knight last game, would be coupling it with something else. Spirit Breaker's in the pool, not too bad here. Yeah, I think Spirit Breaker would be actually a really good pick for Team FanTuan. It doesn't mean the Disruptor has to play like a full 5 position, but he can definitely manage that. And then from there, you just look for your mid laner. Templar Assassin, probably going to get banned out again. Shadow Fiend or TA, actually. You can only ban one. That's actually really strong for Team FanTuan. They can last pick their mid, and it's either TA or Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's more gankable by Night Stalker, but either way, they're good picks. TongFu, though, tapping into reserve time here, trying to solve their puzzle. And they're going to go for the Juggernaut pretty early here, so they didn't want that to be banned out. I think it's pretty important to have against the Disruptor, and I'd have to agree with them. Glimpse back on a carry could just absolutely wreck your team if you either have to waste a BKB charge on it, or you don't have a BKB and you just get killed because you got pulled completely out of position. So having the ability to Blade Fury spin a Glimpse is actually one of the better things about Juggernaut here. Other than that, Gyrocopter brings out a lot of magical damage emphasis, and Juggernaut doesn't care too much about that.
10 seconds remaining.
So yeah, I like the idea overall. If he goes for Battle Fury, he can sync up with the Darkseer pretty well too. So I think a Juggernaut Battle Fury build this game, and they've got an overall great lineup.
Reserve time.
FanTuan. I'm thinking a offlane pick here, so it could be like a Bounty Hunter, a Spirit Breaker. Well, I had Angelize's list pulled up, so let's check out what he's been picking recently. Darkseer, Doom, Clock. None of that really a good pickup here. Batrider's not too bad, but I don't think it's the pick this game. So in the last 3 months, that's been mostly what he's been running, is those that I've mentioned. Bounty Hunter's still, I think, the pick here. We'll see. 30 seconds on the clock. They really, TongFu has no real easy way to keep people alive. They have good mobility, they've got Mechanism, they've got Healing Ward, but no, they go for a Wind Ranger. This changes things a bit in my mind. So they're not going. Okay, so the FTD.A Wind Ranger, among those three, they go for the Wind Ranger pick for mid. They prioritize that over a Bounty Hunter pick for their fourth. Immediately TongFu bans out the Bounty Hunter. That's what they expected in this pick here. But Team FanTuan might have a curveball to throw at TongFu.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Next ban here. I don't think this is the most important ban for FanTuan. They'll take out the Rubik. Yeah, LPC played pretty well on that hero, and it's pretty solid in this case. But I mean, there are probably like a dozen supports that could fill this role. Two come to mind as pretty good here. Lion for his nukes against the Wind Ranger, pretty important. Skywrath Mage isn't too bad either. Skywrath and Night Stalker sync up pretty well in terms of ganking potential.
Remaining.
But yeah, you're looking for a range support here, one with any kind of disable. Something that can survive the Tusk would be ideal, but with the Dazzle banned out, there's not many left in the pool. Witch Doctor is okay here too. Bane actually not bad at all. He won't get the Fiend's Grip off for the most part though. There's so many stuns, but just the naturally tankiness of that hero. Jakiro is pretty solid. You can take advantage of the Darkseer factor. Vacuum them all together under a lot of Jakiro spells. Get Tower Push with Juggernaut. But they go with the Bane. So once again, Fiend's Grip is barely a spell this game. You've got the Glimpse, Static Storm, Walrus Punch, Snowball, Homing Missile sometimes, even Shackle Shot, and a lot of other stuff. Just you're not going to get that spell off easy, but Bane is so naturally tanky in the lane, he's going to be able to make good rotations, set up good kills, and survive the Tusk for the most part. So I'm looking forward to it.
10 seconds.
Bane, even without his ultimate, is still a really strong hero. Just his natural stat pool and his spell set. That really cheap Brain Sap. Oh my gosh, that's so easy value. You can do a lot of work with that spell. And he's becoming more and more of a priority pick in the Western scene as well. FanTuan down to the last 14 seconds here. They go for the Clockwork. So I mentioned it as one of the things that in July picks, but it puts the Tusk in a little bit of an awkward spot here. Clockwork and Tusk, I don't feel like they're that strong together. They can definitely find opportunities, but I just don't feel like it's that much stronger than other dual lanes in particular. Clockwork still can pretty much just do his own thing solo, and Tusk can probably roam and try to frustrate the Darkseer for the most part. Queen of Pain in the mid lane, played by U9, is just going to be able to blink back whenever the snowball's coming in. And then on the off lane, Juggernaut's going to spin if he ever gets caught inside the cogs, ice shards, that kind of stuff. So there's still value in DDR's Tusk. I'm not going to say it's like a worthless pick. And in the team fights, in the early fights, we're going to see him do a lot of work. I'm just saying in the landing stage, he doesn't have like a guaranteed place to associate with and to synergize
5
with.
seconds remaining.
Every lane's good for him. None of them are great. So we'll go ahead and switch things over as we load into the game here. We're just waiting on In July to pick up the Clockwork and Faith to pick up the Night Stalker. Here we go. So to start things off here, I got to talk about like tempo of the game. I feel like they're pretty even. Looks like we might have a small disconnect. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. Are we perfect world lagging? Alright, we're perfect world lagging. So we're going to see a TP from the Tusk bottom. He's going to try to get that observer ward around this camp. And otherwise, we don't really have much more information because we are completely frozen here. So I'm going to go ahead, switch over to an overlay, and I'm going to go ahead and restart to make sure that we have a good game to watch here. Hopefully no first blood with the snowball. Maybe I should watch for that. No, they've already dropped the ward. I'm just going to go and reset and make sure that we get a good, perfect world feed here by getting new connection. Essentially, for those that haven't tuned into the Chinese broadcast, for most Western casters, Perfect World is a Chinese server behind the Great Firewall of China. And the implications of that are simply that it is very common for a Western caster's internet service provider to route to China in a weird way through the firewall, losing a lot of packets. And the end result is a very stuttery slideshow of Dota 2 through Dota TV. And while the stream is fine, while my computer and my internet are fine, that the information that I'm getting from the Chinese server is completely scattered. So we just try to reconnect to the game and fix that. But it will take a little bit of time here. We'll miss the first minute of the game. And I do apologize for that. It's just one of those technical things that there still isn't really a workaround for. People have tried VPNs, and they've had some limited success, but nothing consistent. So we'll go ahead and get into the game as soon as possible. Tusk did get a good southwestern observer ward blocking out the camp by TPing forward, and that means that the Clockwork shouldn't have pulls going against them. Combining that with power cogs, that should be a very fast level 6 for Clock, and that's when they start getting aggressive, when the Clockwork has this hook shot. Still, I gotta say the one thing they are lacking is really good control against the Queen of Pain until a little bit later. The Disruptor obviously can glimpse the Queen of Pain. At level 3 or 4, I would say the glimpse becomes pretty valuable. At level 1 and 2, the blink is much longer range than the glimpse, and you're never going to get that spell off. Static Storm, of course, restricting her mobility in the kinetic field. The Shackle Shot could be huge. So those are going to be the big spells you're going to look for. In the meantime, Juggernaut, really, does he have anything? The one thing you're looking at is Walrus Punch and Hook Shot to cancel Spin TP, and that's obviously quite valuable. But as far as actually like controlling them in the fights, they don't really have much. Power Cogs, Ghost Scepters, that kind of thing. So we're loading back in here, and we should have our Game 2 on our hands very shortly. Sorry about the delay and the technical issues, but we do the best we can here. And if it's still stuttering, if it's still lagging and perfect worldy, then I'll just go ahead and cast it, despite the kind of mismatch of information that we get. Sometimes heroes are disembodied, walking around while they've actually already been killed in the game. Sometimes spells don't play, and you miss an entire ultimate or something. But there is going to be one kill coming out here. This kill happened for the Disruptor, so it looks like they were able to find something with just the Ice Shards, I would say. Let's see, the Tusk got the assist, and yeah, it was just the Disruptor. And, oh, Bane getting isolated here against the Clockwork. It looks like he'll go down with one more battery assault. Tick, get in there in July. Got him. Alright, so 2-0 in favor of FanTuan here. 2 minutes and 20 seconds of the game. Like I said, we did miss a little bit of action, but we have a pretty good idea of how that all panned out. I mean, the kill on the Bane we just saw, and then the Night Stalker just goes aggressive, gets caught out by Tusk plus Disruptor. So, Faith, unfortunately, feeding a little bit of momentum there. And otherwise, not too much interesting happening. Bottom lane, double checking that before I fix my config. Alright, we're good to go. Everything's back in, and as you can see, we're looking pretty smooth as far as the hero movement here, so I'm happy we got that fixed. Restarting Steam. It's a weird fix, but, you know, it'll work. So yeah, you got our Darkseer looking for the early Soul Ring. Actually, it was only 200 gold off of that, so he's gonna have it pretty soon. And yeah, Iron Shell Push is doing some good work here, frustrating the gyrocopter only a little bit. He's got his boots, he's got Tango and Mango. He'll be fine in terms of overall like gradual HP sustain. But in the meantime, Faith, where's he gonna go? Obviously he needs to get levels so that he can be more impactful at the 4-minute night, but it looks like he's only gonna be level 2 and level 3 for the first nighttime. Early CS, that's probably a lot more important than KDA, sorry guys. 19 and 12 on the gyrocopter. ZSMJ playing the safe lane gyro, doing really well in that position. And it makes me wonder why they put him mid last time. But oh well. LPC under some pressure here, but actually gonna see Shinkyu just hit him with a blade dance and crit him back. So like I said, these two heroes, they have some synergy, but not enough to run over a lane, especially not a Juggernaut Bane. Well, Paparazzi spamming out his spells. He's the Wind Ranger mid, looking to bottle up the Bounty Room bottom. And U9 here. Let's look at the CS. 19 and 3 for the Wind Ranger, 17 and 9 for the Queen of Pain. And an Invis Room for U9 could create some interesting possibilities soon. Iron Stalker, again, only level 2, 101. Not as scary as it could be, especially once they get the Observer Ward scouting him out. As soon as you... Oh wait, no, it's a Radiant Ward. Oh, Bane caught out here. This could be pretty bad. He's not going to be able to get a spell cast off here. Spell animations are too long, so snowballing forward on top of this, they're going to get some great damage on Bane, but could be some return kills. As we see, the Nightmare actually puts him invulnerable. Ice Shards is not enough to kill him. 44 HP, he'll TP away, and they'll not only kill off the Clockwork, but it looks like DDR2. He buys himself a couple items, is going to try to juke and jive in the trees, but in the end, it's a double kill for Shinkyu, and the Bane survives with a very nice self-Nightmare. Just 1 second of invulnerability is enough to negate that 44 damage that otherwise would have been. Very close call, but in the end, he baits him into a double. And that's the strength of the Bane Juggernaut. It's not necessarily just the survivability of these heroes, it's the potential for a return kill. The Blade Fury is huge. Oh, great silence on Paparazzi. He can't Wind Run away, and they'll just right-click him down. The dot from the Shadow Strike will finish the job. But Faith now has to run. A little awkward movement from there, maybe some pathing issue. But now he's looking to go back in. Can they actually do this? Bane has a lot of damage with the Brain Sap, but this is a Tusk with enough HP to back it off and just hide under tower, at least for now. So it's going to be Night Stalker going back. Halfway through the daytime, he's got to run all the way back to Fountain just to fuel up some mana. So maybe not worth it to use those last two spells. Anyways, great kill on the Wind Ranger. Using the silence before the Wind Run comes out is very clutch. Even if it does mean the Queen of Pain goes down, though. And Queen of Pain, in fact, died before the Wind Ranger did. So although post-mortem Queen of Pain gets the gold, it's Paparazzi that claims that experience and actually is topping out our experience per minute chart right now. And bottle play. No, it's a smoke play. Interesting, interesting. ZSMJ making the move with DDR. Cooldown is a very significant power spike with the gyrocopter that a lot of teams don't seem to be taking advantage of, but here we see ZSMJ saying, okay, well, I can fight. I have an ultimate. It's not a long cooldown. Let's get something done. And they're going to make their surprising way down bottom while the Disruptor gets solo experience top. So Pretty Haw is a bit vulnerable, but we're going to see that call down, that Snowball, and the Rocket Barrage bring Faith low. Nice Ice Shards as well. So Faith does what he can, but he's going to be absolutely destroyed. And now actually In July gets caught out again. This Clockwork's not having a great game. I really feel like he should just be cogging back the creeps here. I mean, the camp's been blocked out for a little while. It looks like they did deward that actually 2 minutes into the game. But oh, glimpse back on U9, Sonic Wave, Pretty Haw, taking down, TPing home. The Shadow Strike won't be enough here. U9 sent back home with a DD, or sent back to mid with a DD rune. And can't do much with it. So nice little play there from Pretty Haw. And ZSMJ just gets one kill and rotates right back up top. Loses a little bit of CS for it, though, and is now second in net worth. So it's good for the team overall, but probably bad for ZSMJ. That kill took him a long time. TPing to mid, wrapping all the way down here, and then running all the way back. It's not efficient. So, and a carry, if anything, has to be efficient. But ZSMJ, he's going to find that farm no matter what. Let's check out stacks. No stacks on his Ancients. And actually very few stacks in his jungle as well. This is awkward. I figured a little bit more would work out, but obviously you have to be worried about Zex Bingo stealing those stacks with Iron Shell. They're going to go for a play here on the top lane. The TP response should be there, though. Tusk doesn't have one. Disruptor's on cooldown, so that actually could have been some good damage coming in. But it does hit daytime. I think the Void would have been still the full duration, but after that, the Night Stalker would be pretty slow. Diving Gyrocopter isn't the easiest proposition either. How's Shinkyu doing? Just farming up phase, Poor Man's Shield, and then probably looking for the Battle Fury, as I mentioned. This is a pretty good bread and butter set of items to rush the Battle Fury now. And I think it is important to pick up that Battle Fury with the Darkseer on your team, with the Snowball against you. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you're going to be cleaving, and of course you can then actually keep pace and farm with the Gyrocopter. We're going to see a call down here. Faith gets caught inside the kinetic. Great play from Pretty Hall there. Beautiful Disruptor performance. And that's just with natural dire vision. They didn't have any ward behind the tower. They just get the glimpse at the right time.
Radiant's middle
Basic
tower
Pain
is
also
under
not able to
attack.
do much. This is awkward for U9. He's gotten 2 really good runes for kills, the Invis rune and the Haste rune, but there's just been no opportunity. He almost got somebody top, but that didn't work out. So his only kill to his name, he
Radiant's
wasn't
top
even there
tower
for. It
is
was
under
the dot
attack.
tick on Wind Ranger when he died. U9, yeah, he needs to get some momentum. I feel like the Queen of Pain has to start finding kills, or by default, Wind Ranger's going to be the more impactful hero because she's going to get items. Right now, 3,300 net worth. Queen of Pain just treads for now. This isn't a great Orchid game, to be honest with you. I'd be
Dire's middle tower is under
surprised
attack.
if he didn't just go for the Aghanims. Darkseer looking for the early mechanism. No surprise there. Sometimes Darkseers go Arcanes before the mech, and they spam the crap out of Ion Shell, but Zexbingo seems content with just the kind of mid-range Ion Shell spam with the Soul Ring. And he gets mangoed up, so that works too. Oh no, Soul Ring. What am I talking about?
Where's my pension?
Alrighty, so Clockwork going to be looking for the Blade Mail. Decent this game. Not great against the Juggernaut, but pretty good against the Queen of Pain. And then probably just goes for tanky items. He wants to get right up in Bane's business, and you can't do that without a little bit of durability. Overall, Golden Experience pretty okay. Ooh, that was a Gyrocopter illusion? No, Wind Ranger illusion, and that's quite unfortunate. Now Shinkyu, without a Omni Slash, is going to be knocked back by the cogs in the Static Storm. The kinetic field will not come out in time, but we're going to see him glimpse towards it, having to spin, and with Faith coming in, he's going to just start zoning with his body. He's just going to get there as a buffer to make sure the Juggernaut gets out safely, and in fact tries to go for kills, but they've got Tusk coming in. Little do they know that TP response is going to give them the numbers disadvantage. U9 trying to get a good Sonic Wave off, but instead getting shackled to Bane. He'll get the Sonic Wave, Scream, big damage to bring down the Disruptor, but they need more. Paparazzi, Wind running away. Tusk has some Ice Shards in just 3 seconds, might be able to separate these guys out. That would be huge. Faith right on target. The Ice Shards don't lock out Faith, but they do catch him in the cooldown, and that will be Wind Ranger running out with 50 HP remaining. Very close call. Doesn't stay for the power shot, though, and that might be enough damage to Zexbingo to turn it. Great wall of replica here. Hits on 3 heroes before he goes down. They turn it around completely. All the TPs for the short respawns and the wall of replica are just enough to absolutely obliterate FanTuan at the tail end of that fight. If only they got the power shot. I understand Wind Ranger's at 40 HP. Paparazzi's got to be scared, but if he got that power shot, that would have been the death of the Darkseer before he drops the wall. Instead, catching him in the cogs turns out to be the death of FanTuan, and that's a huge turn of events for TongFu, as now Shinkyu pushes readily on this Tier 1 tower. All started with Omni Slash being wasted on a Wind Ranger illusion. The Radiant didn't have vision on the bottom rune, and actually Shinkyu looks to be dead here. Yeah, they do everything they need to bring him down. Defensive Nightmare would have helped a little bit there, but I don't think it saves him. It's going to be Wind Ranger denying the Tier 1 bottom. So, just looking at kills 3, 1, and 2 for Shinkyu now. A lot better game than before, just by default, but obviously a turn of events that he didn't want there. Mechanism's going to be pretty huge for the Darkseer. What items are really big for FanTuan, though? I mentioned all the items they're picking up, but none of them seem to be really impactful. There's a Sange, going to be an S&Y on ZSMJ. There's a Blade Mail in the works for July, Urn of Shadows for Disruptor, and something big for Wind Ranger. I would say Wind Ranger's items is really the only one that's going to be making a difference anytime soon. Sanj is probably a medium impact, just that extra durability is going to be huge in the fights, but whatever Wind Ranger goes for is the big thing, and it looks like it's going to be a Blink Dagger. Paparazzi rushing out the Blink. I'm a pretty big fan of this. If you have heroes that you can kill off in a single shackle shot, then the Blink could be the perfect item to make game-winning plays happen. But he goes for a Midas! Oh no! Okay. I go from extreme approval to the most disapproving you can be. It's fine. Obviously, there's one thing is that Gyrocopter's taking a lot of farm here. ZSMJ, he's trying to farm the map more across the board, the jungles and the lanes, much more than the Wind Ranger can keep up with. So, you go for a farming item to try to still stay relevant this game, and Maelstrom probably would have just been too greedy. They don't have enough creeps to farm a Gyrocopter and a Wind Ranger with Maelstrom. So what they do instead is just condense that gold into reliable gold and experience for Wind Ranger through Midas. And overall, I can't blame them, but it definitely wasn't the item that I expected, nor that I think is ideal. Either way, Cog Knockback actually not the best here. If they had him just sitting in the Ice Shards, that would have been great, but instead he actually bounces out of the Static Storm, and now Shinkyu is on the run with 2 heroes backing him up. This could be great, and Omni Slash could come out here and do a lot of damage, but the Sonic Wave is only doing so much. Pretty Hot does go down. Shinkyu's Omni Slash sees through to that, but now they're caught in the Cogs, and ZSMJ doing massive damage with both Rocket Barrage and Flat Cannon. Kills off the Juggernaut and nearly kills off Zex Bingo, but there's going to be LPC. Does get a good Fiend's Grip off this fight. And with the Brain Sap, they'll make it a 5-for-1. Oh, boy. The single Cog knockback there. That was the thing that ruined them. Like, this is a great a barrier. If they put the Ice Shards there, the Cogs and the Ice Shards there, all on the Static Storm, he's completely trapped. But with the Cog knockback, he just slips right out of all of it, wastes all their spells. Spin and Phase Boots back to safety, and they set up for the perfect turnaround. That is just gorgeous. I think the Sonic Wave looked like it was kind of minimal, but if it hit an even 2 heroes, it was good. For some reason, like I think there was a Perfect World glitch showing it only hitting 1, but he might have hit 2 with it. The damage FT took at that moment was quite considerable, using the Omni Slash, the Sonic Wave, and the Scream all at once. Either way, FanTuan now kind of on the back foot, as we see now 3K experience and net worth favoring TongFu. CSMJ kind of back in farming mode, just goes for that SMY. He needs a BKB next, I would say. And now, like, FanTuan's lineup is more suited for pushing and fighting with these short cooldowns than it is for anything else. I mean, if you look at the cooldowns of their ultimates, you've got 50 seconds on cooldown, Tusk's Flawless Punch is only 20, Hookshot is only 70 at level 1, the Static Storm is the longest at 90, and then you've got, for now, a 60-second cooldown on Focus Fire, which will be reduced to 15 later. So what that means to me is that FanTuan's lineup is stronger when it's pushing, when it's fighting, when it's killing, and then just whenever they kill off TongFu, they go back and find a ton of farm while TongFu cannot. But in this case, it's been very different. It's the fights haven't gone the way they want to. They have to farm because they don't really have an alternative. And this is giving time for Queen of Pain to get her next ultimate ready. She's going for either BKB or Ags. I think, again, Ags is really good here. But Static Storm is a bitch, so maybe U9 hates it so much he'll rush the BKB. And, yeah, they get to wait out the daytime, too. Like, there is no aggression coming from FanTuan during Night Stalker's weakest point this game. I mean, he's working towards his Aghanim Scepter, but right now, about, like, the 17-minute mark, like, a Night Stalker is not really a particularly spectacular hero. Net worth here, just showing a slight advantage to TongFu in terms of cores, but you look at the supports here, and the Clockwork. These 3 heroes here, the Tusk, the Disruptor, and the Clockwork, down in the bottom 4. The Clockwork just now finishing Blade Mail in July has just been set back so much with all the deaths that happened bottom. I mean, he is now 2, 4, and 6. And the problem with that is that Clockwork very frequently puts himself in harm's way intentionally. That's the way he initiates. He puts himself right up in there. And although he can soak up some good damage, he can reflect some of it with Blade Mail. End of the day, this guy's just going to keep dying. Over and over again, he's going to keep dying. And This means he's probably not going to find another item for another 10 minutes unless something surprising happens. And that's the surprise factor here is the smoke at a seed. Missing on multiple lanes though. That would be considered a safe place to farm. It looks like TongFu are aware of this. This is a pretty predictable 5-man smoke. So the only extension they're going to make is a 3-man movement towards their own ancients.
Double damage.
Faith just staying, keeping his distance, and they did lose their smoke early here from in July, but maybe he broke it intentionally. I don't know. Either way, range creep kills off the ward they just placed, thanks to a very nice early sentry out in this position, and now all TongFu have to do is push down mid with the DD.
Tower is under attack.
Going back to that item decision, Night Stalker looks to be caught out here. A bit of a mistake from him, but not the most impactful.
Dire's
There
middle
is
tower has fallen.
no tower to kill down bottom, so they're wasting their time. They lose a tier 2, and all they do is pick up a Night Stalker for their smoke
Dire's
play.
middle tower is
Pretty
under
weak for
attack.
FanTuan all around. And I'll mention that Queen of Pain did actually go for the BKB. A lot of people will scoff at a BKB first item. 19-minute BKB. That's way too early. You can't farm. You are using charges earlier and earlier because the components of BKB aren't great, and the recipe doesn't enhance them. It's 10 strength from the Ogre Club, 24 damage from the Mithril Hammer, and then all the recipe does is give you this active, which the earlier you use it and the more frequently you use it, the worse off you're going to be. But because you're up against a Disruptor who is completely nullified by BKB, and a Blade Mail, which is actually going to hurt you if you Sonic Wave the Clockwork, I think it's a perfectly reasonable pickup for U9. Aghanims would have been okay, but could have been still problematic, and I think a Snowball would have sufficed there, but they wanted to make sure Bane goes down. They just are really hungry for blood. They get their 13th kill, but man, they're pretty sad that they're this far behind, I would say.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
4,400 net worth, 2,800 experience favoring TongFu. And Disruptor's rushing X? Ooh, boy. That'll create some problems for TongFu, but I still think Juggernaut's a decent answer to that, since he can spin on an 18-second cooldown to avoid the glimpse into the Static Storm, where other heroes have to use their BKB every time they get glimpsed. Juggernaut's not really that type of hero, so it's still a good pickup. It'll give great stats for Pretty Haw, and could be a very deciding aspect of some later team fights, but immediately I still think that TongFu can withstand it. They're not shaking
Radiant's
just because
top
the
tower
Disruptor
is
has a
under
point
attack.
booster. DDR here, on the side. Looks like they want to go for like a 3v1 play when somebody pushes out the waves, but they're not getting that. It's just a double Ion Shell here on the creep wave. And TongFu keep playing their own game. They keep avoiding the blind spots, and they just keep on focusing on where they know is safe. And that's really smart movement from them. Chinkyu's always been in a comfortable position. They've had some good wards. Dire? Oh my gosh, they barely missed that. Oh, the vision from that
Radiant's
Observer
top
ward
tower is under
did not
attack.
extend to the smoke, and that means we're going to be seeing some good possible move from TongFu. They see Paparazzi here. They have greater night vision, and they will get a void.
Radiant's top
No!
tower is
They
under
were
attack.
definitely in range to cast a spell or two, but Wind Ranger has a Force Staff, and that was enough to promote safety. So the smoke actually does fail to accomplish much. Wind Ranger was not the target they wanted to go on there, apparently. Especially not that close to home with the Force Staff. Pretty Haw almost gets caught out here. Very, very close to U9, but is able to just back it up and start getting back control of the map. I'm wondering which team is going to pick up the gem first. Obviously, the Night Stalker is the most common team to have a gem before the other, but I feel like FanTuan are in such a bad position in terms of vision, they might be tempted to dip into it. And then, of course, you always have to wonder, do they run the risk of losing that gem and giving it to the Night Stalker for free, which would be pretty disastrous. Man, they're giving Disruptor a lot of farm, though. I mean, 38-26 is not much in terms of net worth, but you see that he's not, like, segueing it into anything else. He's not even bothering upgrading to Magic Wand. He wants this Aghanims as quickly as possible, and Tranquil and Magic Stick is the only other items he's going to have. So, yeah, really just focusing on that. No side items, no Solar Crests and Glimmer Capes and Force Staffs and etc., etc.,
Radiant's
etc.
top tower is under attack.
Aghanims and Aghanims alone.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Juggernaut now has a Manta style, goes for that. The Manta Drum over alternatives like Battle Fury. And actually, we're going to see U9 caught out here. Nice Power Cogs and a great Static Storm. He doesn't even get the chance to use his BKB. Now, Faith is pretty much dead to rights inside the Cogs. And a 4-step forward sets up for the Shackle. But it will not latch. And now it's going to be the Gyrocopter that has to do the heavy lifting this fight. The Fiend's Grip is not available. They used it already. Nightmare attempted, but quick wake up and from the Ion Shell. And they're just going to keep going on to Shinkyu here. Oh, gets a crit. He actually gets enough damage to bring down the Wind Ranger. And that was a very close call. They don't want to go through the wall, leaving Shinkyu to spin TP. Rocket Flare catches LPC, but that's it. Oh my goodness, that could have been so much better for FanTuan. They started that fight really well, killing off a Queen of Pain without her casting Sonic Wave or using BKB is insanely good. Like, that is an amazingly good initiation, and it shows why TongFu made a mistake for going into the pit. But in the end of the day, 4,000 damage comes out from the Juggernaut, and they just couldn't finish off their last two opponents, thanks to the well-placed wall of the Darkseer.
Boom! There it goes.
Was that a mech versus non-fight? Yeah. So that's another big thing, is the Darkseer has a mechanism, and FanTuan don't have that item yet. I think Tusk will work towards it, most likely, as time goes by. But right now they don't have a mechanism, and just that 250 HP very clearly saved Bane and Juggernaut's bacon there. So, and while I may have argued for something other than Manta style here, that extra 10 strength, it actually was what saved his life there. So, getting some value out of the stats already. And honestly, Yasha is already a really good item for farming and moving. And maybe I'm overhyping the Blink Vacuum Omni Slash. You get some cleave hits in it, but without attack speed, you don't get that much. Oh, okay, actually, you're gonna get out of here. Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. Power Cogs used to knock back through BKB, which was really OP against Lifestealer, but no longer. And he's a little perturbed by it, clearly. But yeah, essentially, as soon as you blow the hook, if you don't have a Walrus Punch in range, you don't have a kill on a Juggernaut. Yeah, at least they're controlling the pit well. Rocket flaring frequently and obviously contesting it more directly. It'll make TongFu think twice about making such an invasion play happen again. Gyrocopter will take the tier 1 top tower for free. ZSMJ now building up to the BKB, and he actually has it. This is a good time to be a Gyrocopter. Almost hitting level 16, has the BKB. He is, I would say, stronger than the Juggernaut right now, despite them being pretty much equal in net worth. And we'll just have to see what the Juggernaut can do to make the next fight that much more valuable. Oh, but they could just jump him right here. They need to make sure the Walrus Punch is close at hand. They go for the hook shot. He just spins and runs away. That's such a hard kill to find. You have to wait. You just have to be more patient, I think. I mean, they just smoked. They could have absolutely waited 10 more seconds, waited for him to get away from the creep wave, instead of just hooking on the creeps. I don't understand why you hook on the creeps there and not just wait, but we see another failed set of spells to connect, and yeah, it's gonna be TongFu to take the map. Look at this. Faith gets bought a Geometry Sight by the Darkseer, so XX Bingo drops 900 gold, but suddenly Faith, with Aghanim's Gem, is roaming around, finding wards, and starting to just take the full map. Oh, Juggernaut does go for Diffusal. Wow, Manta Diffusal. Who does he want to burn mana on? It's so interesting. I mean, I've seen this build against, like, Wraith King. I would advocate for this build against Medusa, but in this game, it's a little awkward. Mana burn is not that important. Purge is not really that beneficial. Is there anything you want to purge off yourself? No. I mean, he has 2 self-purges, and no real value in that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'll have to think about this one. I'm not going to judge Shinkyu. He has his own way of doing things. He picks up Manta a lot on Ember Spirit already, so I'm sure he has his reasons. But in particular, it doesn't feel like the build that I would advocate for Juggernaut. But we'll let it play out and see what value he does get out of it as the game goes by. Yeah, he's just not really the big carry doing a lot of damage in the fights. That's the thing that I'm looking for. Is does he go for Butterfly next? I think that's probably it. Scotty or Butterfly both are good, and they do both stack with Diffusal. But anywho, Xinqiu's doing Xinqiu things. Queen of Pain gonna be going BKB Orchid, it looks like. Wait, no, nowhere near enough mana for Refresher, so it can't be that. And Jar just goes for the Dominator. There is a Glimmer Cape up on the Bane, a BKB now up for the Wind Ranger. I'll keep an eye on chat. If you guys have an idea about the value of the Manta Diffusal, go ahead, lay some knowledge on me, but... No, I can see where it would be good in some games. I just don't see much for it in this game. Alright, gonna be seeing TongFu looking to pounce here. Paparazzi again, not the target they want. He's got BKB Wind Run, he's got Force Staff. They walk right on by him, they don't even care. They're like, yeah, like, you know, that's not really a good effort. What they could do is go for a Fiend's Grip on Paparazzi and then block the hook shot. Essentially put a bunch of heroes in front of him. And essentially what you do there is you glimmer the Fiend's Grip so that the Glimpse doesn't come out from the Disruptor, and then you just block the hook shot. We're actually going to see smoke broken by Xinqiu. He's invis with Ion Shell, and he might just find himself a little solo kill on the back end. This is pretty hot with the Aghanim Scepter, so the Static Storm has to be huge. It's only on U9, but he doesn't get BKB off, which means it is huge. They're going to kill U9 again without him getting the BKB off. Now we're going to see the Fiend's Grip coming out here, canceled finally, but he does get a good Brain Sap and will keep himself alive. Now the Juggernaut comes through, but he doesn't do enough damage. He'll be on the run, he'll spin, but he'll die. And that's going to be a 3 for nil. A huge opening there with the hookshot cogs with the Static Storm on Queen of Pain. That is the exact opener you need in that situation. It is countered by Force Staff if an ally brings it, but right now Radiant don't have a Force Staff. And so they actually catch them completely unawares, and they will take Roshan for themselves. Beautiful, beautiful play there from FanTuan. That said, really not much you can do once you lose the Queen of Pain there, since again the Juggernaut is not really doing the heavy lifting in terms of damage output, and at that point you just have to run and save the gem. And no, you cannot purge Windrun. That would be absolutely insane. MKB is good against Windrun, but that's about it. Or that you tried to disable her while it's active so you can start hitting her while it's not. I don't know. Age is going to go to the Gyrocopter.
Boom, there it goes.
Oh yeah, there is no Oblivion in Refresher. Damn it, I'm off my game tonight, guys. That's a little awkward. I gotta get out of the 2014s, guys. I have to think in the modern world, in the modern era. Jeez. All right, what else we got here? Nothing really coming up. Night Stalker probably looks for BKB next. Maybe upgrade his boots, for crying out loud. Definitely some butterflies, I would say. Pretty key here. But I think the next fight will happen before any new items come out, really. Disruptor might get a blink. And note also that Windranger is going for a very damageless build too. Both the Juggernaut and the Windranger are not contributing nearly the amount of damage you normally see, because there's no Maelstrom or Aghanims here on Paparazzi. But he's tanky as all get out. Pops the VG.P, just drops the Chakra onto Zex Bingo a little late, but they'll snowball everybody and put it all in Zex Bingo. Big cooldown coming out. Gyrocopter pops the VG.P and is doing massive damage. They get the Gyrocopter without Guardian Greaves coming out, and Xinqiu runs down the Tusk on the western flank here. U9 getting chased by Paparazzi, but he can't finish the job. The Focus Fire just doesn't do enough, and he'll be cleaned up by LPC and Faith. That leaves the Gyrocopter solo to fight it out here. ZSMJ, his mana gone, getting purged. Now we see him completely locked down. They have infinite slows here. They can purge him as many times as they need to finish him off. And that's going to be a death of ZSMJ. That's going to be a 5-man wipe. That's going to be a massive team fight for TongFu. That's what happens when FanTuan don't get the initiation they need. They put so many spells into a Darkseer that it already dropped Wall. Maybe not Vacuum, maybe not the Guardian Greaves, but at least the Wall. And it turns out to be very, very poor in terms of exchange. I mean, they started off BKB shackle-shotting the guy, and then put every spell into him from that point forward. They really wanted to kill this Darkseer, and
Dire's middle tower
I just
is
gotta
under
say, like,
attack.
if you kill a Bane, take him out of the fight, and alright, tanky enough to withstand the Juggernaut's onslaught, and just start them in retreat, you're gonna be able to chase them down, because you have Glimpse. We'll see Clockwork a little bit by himself, but I think they can fight this now. Gyrocopter doesn't want to buy back, but even with 4-man, they're pretty scary, and they're gonna go. They don't have the they could glimpse. I mean, yeah, they're gonna glimpse back the Juggernaut into the Static Storm. He gets caught in the Glimmer Cape, and they don't seem to have detection, so Shinkyu is fine for the moment. Nice defensive Nightmare, but not nice enough. It breaks quickly. Manta and the Healing Warden, he's actually going right back in on Paparazzi, who got caught by the Fiend's Grip. Now silencing the Tusk, they'll chase DDR down, they'll take the Tier 2 tower, and maybe even one more life. Omni Slash is here, yeah, they'll purge the Disruptor, and it will absolutely destroy Mr. Thrall there. Gonna be the Cogs. I'm not sure about this. CSMJ all by himself pops the BKB. At least he's not enfeebled as he goes for the Flag Cannon against 5. It's a 1v5 for CSMJ, and he can't kill Faith. Oh, the miss uphill. That is brutal. And that's gonna be him failing to really avenge any of his fallen comrades. 4 heroes go down.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, here we go, Tier 3 tower. Gonna be going down pretty quickly. And here we go, the melee rack's gonna be dropping.
Dire's middle barracks are under
Shortly after the ranged.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
That's gonna be one full lane of racks before they have to retreat, and I don't think FanTuan get many return kills here, if any. CSMJ wants it, but really they just can't manage it, and this could be a mistake too. Snowballing forward here. We're gonna see LPC isolated. And it looks like, yeah, they'll just pick up 1 kill here with a glimpse. Who is it gonna be? It looks like it's gonna be Bane. Goodbye, Mr. Bane. You did your best. Now you're going down. A little alive for a little bit longer. We're gonna see a hookshot come in here. Double Cogs and the Home Ghosts all connecting, but in July, even with the Blade Mill, is still not able to do enough to TongFu. They'll Guardian and they'll stay alive. There is an Agadam's hookshot though. If you can just get past this damn Manta style, these illusions. Oh, such a great block from Shinkyu. Finally, he finds the real one, but he can't Cog knock him back. He gets silenced by U9 and is going to be hit really hard. No, the dodge! The snowball dodges out the Sonic Wave, and Intelai is still momentarily alive. He will fall, but they'll trade it out heavily, getting a lot of kills on the sidelines now. Only going to be the Gyrocopter versus Juggernaut, and Juggernaut wins out without even casting Omni Slash. Oh. Gyro's just not a 1v1 hero. That guy sucks in single target. We're going to see DDR try to clean up U9, but it's an ultra kill for Shinkyu. Butterfly online. Omni Slash at the ready. Needs a little bit of mana, but otherwise ready to rumble in towards that top lane. A great fight for TongFu once more. Their teamfight is just so much better right now. FanTuan, they stretch themselves really thin trying to find any vengeance. They could have just had the Bane kill and then walk away. But no, they wanted more. The Clockwork keeps going and going and going, and nearly finds a really good opportunity, but gets silenced and killed off instead in spite of the snowball, and the fight just breaks down from there. They lose so many cores, and it feels like the one thing that FanTuan really didn't master this game was knowing when to quit. TongFu, there were plenty of points in the game where they had the advantage, but FanTuan were playing as if they had the advantage 100% of the time. Well, there were some fights that they definitely could take. Oh, Static Storm coming down. Shinkyu doesn't care about the silence. Will take some damage, but Glimmer Cape Nightmare, he walks away. U9, okay. We'll clean up the Disruptor. Pops the BKB and spamming Purge now, just making sure you can't escape. And we're going to see here, DDR caught out to, last hit goes to the Bane. Shackle Shot doesn't latch. They're still going to get some okay hits in here, but they don't have detection for Shinkyu. He buys himself, is that Defusal 2 and Blink Dagger? You better believe it. And the GG is called. It doesn't matter what he builds. He is able to slaughter them through net worth advantage alone. I mean, a good stats build overall. I mean, I can't knock that. The Diffusal Blade active was involved just slowing its opponents. That's pretty good. It's like a cheap Eye of Scotty. It's more greater slow, but less frequently. You only use it when you need it. Not bad, not bad. I definitely won't complain when I see Shinkyu pick up all the Manta Diffusal builds in the world, which he probably will because he loves those items. 73 and 8 on Juggernaut. I won't say his unique build won him the game. Overall, it was TongFu who played a great team fight stage. They were able to really just find openings left and right. Never a mech picked up by FanTuan. DDR ended the game with 850 gold, picked up a medallion, so he was close to a mech if he hadn't bought the medallion, but he wasn't there, and that cost him a lot. Not having the effective HP to play with. And of course, Paparazzi was their single target damage, but he didn't build single target damage items. He went BKB, 4-staff, Midas. And while I can say Midas can bring value, I didn't see the value here because he kept on digging himself a deeper trench. He's like, okay, well, I got the Midas, but now I'm worried about getting picked off. I'm worried about taking too much damage, getting caught out. So I'll pick up a 4-staff. Okay, it's a good utility item for Wind Ranger. Okay, well, I've got the 4-staff, but now there's silence, and now there's all this magical stuff going on. Maybe he was really annoyed by the Diffusal Blade. He picks himself up a BKB. Now this guy has a friggin' Midas, BKB, and a 4-staff on Wind Ranger. And those are 3 dead items and half his inventory gone when you look at what he needs to do to actually participate in the fights and actually do damage. Essentially, those items were designed to allow him to shackle shot a lot. And sure, if he got a bunch of 2-man shackles, if he got like 3 2-man shackles in a fight, I'd say great. Good build, great spell casting, you did a good job. But what ended up happening was they didn't maybe got 1 shackle shot to connect every fight, and they didn't really have the single target damage. They only had that AoE. And that's just not going to cut it when the Mechanism and the Guardian Grace were up for the Darkseer and he got to use them. So overall, great play from TongFu. FanTuan not really meeting the marks they needed to close it out. It ends up being a 1-1 in this best of 2. So a bit of a wash or draw of this match, but still looking forward to seeing FanTuan do some interesting drafting going into the next stage of Starlighter I-League's group stage. Beyond that, we're going to be looking at our next match for the day. I believe it's FTD club. I think it's Club B, but let me just double check that and look at our new schedule. The schedule did shift as DK Dota officially has disbanded, and Starlighter is getting a 0-2 for all the matches that they would have played, which means we're down 1 match for the night. But hopefully ahead of schedule, because otherwise we have an hour and a half to wait. But hopefully it's ahead of schedule. We're going to be looking at our next match, which is in fact FTD.B versus Insane Buster. And I've actually cast Buster a couple times before, and they're a pretty interesting team. So I'm looking forward to exactly what they bring, and you guys should check it out. More Chinese Dota coming at you guys in a little bit. I'll update on the stream what time we're going to be looking at, which hopefully should be within the next half hour. Anyways, thanks once again. I'm Blaze. If you've enjoyed the commentary, look me up at BlazeCasting. If you have some extra thoughts on the unique builds we got to see today, maybe you have some criticisms, or maybe you love it, just shoot me a tweet and let me know what you think. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time here on Starlighter.